So let's try to make what I'm calling an orthogonal trigonal planar matrix. That's a mouthful. I've started already by assembling these little triangular, they look like little hats, super easy. It's a zigzag connection and you just connect into a 3. I'll make one here just so you can see that, because it's not even one of the shapes on the different videos. It's part of them, but anyway. So there, when you make this connection, don't do a spiral, turn it 90 degrees and make sure it's zigzag. When you add the next one, again, that would be a spiral, that would be a zigzag. You can always tell by looking at the edges. And then automatically these will be zigzag. So just connect them like that. Okay? So I actually have used up all the tiles in a deluxe set. I've got 6 of each color, 8 colors. And so here we go. We'll do Roy G. Biv. And what I'm essentially doing is I'm making them like this, but there's no way to connect these two top and bottom caps except by already starting to connect it with the next one. So I'll take the orange and connect it here, okay? So, like that. Here's the next one around the ring, because we're going to go Roy G. Biv, like that. Now I can put the bottom part on, okay, because now I have a connection right here. Okay, so these two red are going to be like mirror images to each other, facing each other, but there's no connections between the two of them. That is, there's nothing to put a connector there. But I'm going to now have all these other possibilities. But ready? We're going to put the other orange here. And what I'm making when I do this right here is a shape you'll see with the anti-prism group of videos, and that is it's just the simplest one. It's what's called a diagonal anti-prism. This little cluster of 4 that goes red, orange is an anti-prism of the smallest dimension. That is just a diagonal anti-prism. So, but now that we've done that, we're going to now connect, keep going. What would go right here is a yellow. And by the way, this is why I'm calling it trigonal planar. That's a term in chemistry for something that meets at 120 degrees. It's a molecular shape, but it's really for any orientation. Flat, this is flat, and has these come out at 120 degree angles. And the orthogonal is the fact that as you connect two together, it rotates 90 degrees, because this one's also trigonal planar, but it's oriented exactly perpendicular to the other one. Okay? So here we go. We're going to put the yellow one on here now, and that's going to involve more connections here, obviously, and okay, and can you see what goes next? I need the other half of that, again like a mirror image, boom. So we'll put some connections right here, and I always put them in the middle, but it's not critical that they be in the middle. Probably gives the best overall stability. Okay, look what I've got. The Roy port of Roy G. Biv. In terms of putting the green one on, again, I'm kind of going red, orange, yellow, green. Will then go like this. But do keep in mind, and here's why I call it a matrix, this is open to build onto here, and likewise here. And so this can go on to create a space-filling matrix, but it's based on trigonal planar at orthogonal angles. So here comes the green, right? Okay, and we're just going to fast forward now. Okay, so I'm just about to put in this last one, and it's going to be white. And you can see that it's just a little bit off in the angles, but again, these connectors are can give enough that that's not going to be an issue. And I'm going to try to do it this way. I'm going to make it easy by putting these connectors in place as well, and have it all ready to connect to the white top and bottom end cap. Okay, so here's this one. Okay. And you can see that wasn't much of a stretch. Oops. As you add connectors, as you add pieces, try always to just hold the two pieces you're trying to connect and not push them from across the way. Sometimes you don't have a whole lot of choice, but if you can, that always works out best, because then you're not going to be breaking one connection, you should make another. So here we go. And this should just about wrap it up. And it makes a nice little octagon. That's what it seems to fall into. Whoop. And here's the very last connection. See what I mean by sometimes it's hard to just hold the two that you're trying to connect. Okay, so there it is, kind of an interesting shape. And it's all a bunch of trigonal planar, and each connection then is at right angles to the next. But you can see, I hope, that we could add more on here, 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 and continue this pattern. But there you have the orthogonal trigonal planar matrix, at least one octagon shape of it. Okay, so here is that same orthogonal trigonal planar matrix that we just completed before for one face. I called it an octagon. I guess it could also be considered a square. And this is now a cube of that. And you would think that with the one octagon, the one surface I just showed you to begin with, using precisely 48 tiles, one deluxe pack, this would take like 6 times as much. But interestingly, because there's so many shared tiles, it only took about 2.5 times as much. So 120 tiles. You could do that with just 2.5 packs. Anyway, kind of interesting. And again, it doesn't have to stop there. These could also be connected on, and another cube here, another cube there. It starts to become a little bit heavy to the point where it can break connections just of its own weight. It seems to be especially stable if I rest it on what would be a corner of the cube. Not quite as much pressure on these points sticking out then, because it's resting kind of on this surface on the bottom. So there you have it, the orthogonal trigonal planar matrix extended to the next dimension.